With Derek Carr retiring, should the Saints start Tyler Shough over Rattler and Haener? This is the facility. I can't even imagine what this conversation is going to be like. Ladies and gentlemen, whenever, anytime the Saints are in the news and a big national story kind of breaks and people have to scramble and start covering the Saints, we always hear some of the most insane takes possible. So I'm looking forward to this one. I can't wait to see what comes out of it. The question mark on this particular topic is, what should the Saints do about the quarterback position? Now, we know what they're going to do, right? They're going to go into an open competition, a ladder match, hell in the cell, not a Money in the Bank briefcase, but instead, hanging above the ladder is the New Orleans Saints starting quarterback position. 2 men enter: Spencer Rattler, Tyler Shough, special guest referee Jake Haener, and they're going to let this thing play out.
Rounder Tyler Shough, he's there. 5th round pick, we mentioned him. Spencer Rattler, he's there. Remember, free agent, future first ballot Hall of Famer Aaron Rodgers, he's still on the market. Or you got Kirk Cousins sitting in the division as a backup quarterback to the...
All right, so real quick, makes absolutely 0 sense to go get Rodgers. Makes absolutely 0 sense to get Cousins. The only way I would even entertain getting Rodgers is if Rodgers said, I want to play so bad that I will take a enormous pay cut and I'll sign for like $3 million, $3, $4, $5 million. Just 1 year, $3, $4, $5 million, basically a veteran minimum. If that was the situation, yeah, go get him. No harm, no foul. Worst case scenario, he's just there to kind of mentor the guys, and you were probably going to sign a veteran anyways. So if that's it, whatever. But if Rodgers wants to start, wants to kind of dictate where things are going, sign for $15 million. If any of that's the question, no thanks. All right, so that's the only way I'd entertain it. But beyond that, not even worth the conversation.
Atlanta Falcons. Let me start with you, quarterback. What do you think the Saints should do about their quarterback situation?
The answer's on the roster. It's Tyler Shough, second quarterback, right? 2nd round, 40th overall. Big body, true pocket passer, good footwork. And honestly, the Saints didn't know what they didn't know because Derek Carr retired after the draft. So who knows what would have played out. So right now.
Yeah, so I think, first of all, Chase Daniel's been bulking. Respect. I mean, this guy's huge right now. Jesus, I don't know if it's the shirt, but Chase, I respect 20 grams of creatine. Much love, no doubt about it. I'll get some of my reps over at Redcon to send you something. Gee, I mean, my goodness. But they did know. They didn't know Derek was going to retire, I don't think. But I think the Saints absolutely knew Derek Carr's not playing this year. So they absolutely made the Tyler Shough decision, which this is where things get a little confusing for everyone that hasn't been following this saga, right? Because people are thinking, oh my God, the Saints are scrambling. The Saints are scrambling. What are they going to do now? They had no idea this was coming. This was a shock to everybody, shock to the system. But in reality, it really wasn't. The Saints knew. We knew Derek Carr was either going to be traded, released, go on IR, or whatever. But the most unlikely outcome was him starting. The most unlikely outcome was him playing this season. So all the decisions the Saints made, they made with that in mind.
Now the Saints have 0 quarterback wins on their roster. That's why I think they go with the rookie. We got some film to show you 2 plays, one from a physical standpoint, the other from a mental standpoint. All right, you have this formation right here, Acho. It's a 4-by-1. This offense looks very identical to a pro-style offense. So now they're under center, right? You got...
So what are we going to hear? What's the copy and paste with Tyler Shough? Copy and paste with Tyler Shough is played in a pro-style offense, can play under center, does play action, has a big arm, and he's 6'5". That's what you're going to hear. But we already know that. And also, at a certain level, I always say this, at a certain point, all the stuff from college, all the evaluation that ends, right? The Tyler Shough being quote-unquote mature, quote-unquote coming from a pro-style offense. You know who else is from a pro-style offense? Everyone in the NFL. Jake Haener, Spencer Rattler. Those guys are all used to running pro-style offenses, all used to getting in and out of the huddle, all used to the professional level because they are pros. All right, so at this point, that's not really a positive for Shough. It's more of a wash. It just washes out with Rattler. Rattler not only has the exact same experience, but he's done it. He's literally done it in the NFL. right? So he's literally ran NFL offenses. He's literally got in and out of NFL huddles, went under center, done play action, however you want to phrase it, okay? Next, arm talent. We're going to hear a lot about the arm talent. I'll be the first one to tell you. Tyler Shough has a big arm. It's not the elite arm, okay? Rattler's got arm talent. We're in the NFL. Everyone except Jake Haener has arm talent. So we are going to wash that one out, all right? So all that's washed. Age. Spencer Rattler is younger than Tyler Shough, all right? Experience. What's more important? Tyler Shough's 7 years of experience at 3 different colleges, or the 7 games that Spencer Rattler played in the NFL? What experience do you think is more important in this situation? I would argue the 7 games of NFL game experience, even though there were losses, is more important to me than the years at Oregon and Texas Tech for Tyler Shough, right? And I'm not saying this to discredit Tyler Shough. I think Tyler Shough could easily win this job and whatever. But what I'm saying is that this copy and pasting that we keep hearing, a lot of it really doesn't matter. And a lot of it really doesn't translate. All that matters now is that Derek Carr is out the door, and it's Tyler Shough versus Spencer Rattler. And what is going to determine who is the quarterback of the Saints is what happens in the next couple of months at training camp, every rep, what happens in the film room, how they handle the locker room. That is what's going to determine it, not anything that they're showing.
All this offensive lineman, you got jumbo guys in there. All right, then they're going to motion this guy. All right, eyes right here on this receiver. Watch this safety go back. He understands it's single high zone. James Jones, you made a living on this. A pylon, go in to the hash, touch it, 40-yard angle, and then you're going to have this motion guy run a deep cross. When this happens, I want you to watch how open the deep cross is. All right, Tyler Shough, there in the pocket. Okay, that's great. Most mere mortals would take that because that's open right there. All right, he's coming across. All right,
what are we talking about?
We like to see it right here. Oh, it's not right there. The play is not playing. But anyway, here it is right here. All right, you come across a little pylon route right there. Look at the dime on this. I'm going to show from this angle too. So he's under center. He's running this play action. This is an NFL-style offense. This is what the Saints wanted to see. Watch where his...
Like, this conversation should have happened 2 months ago. This is a pro-style offense. He's running a pro-style... Oh, he's already been drafted. Like, okay, he's been drafted. He is in the building. All this conversation's already happened and is done. Which, you know, the media is playing catch-up now. Honestly, this is a sidebar, but... this news happening on Saturday, I was thinking about this. I couldn't imagine, like 5 years ago, right? 10 years ago, a news hits on Saturday, all the radio stations, news stations, whatever, they're kind of shut down for the weekend. They're probably thinking like, all right, Monday, we're gonna this is our lead story on Monday. We're gonna do 3 hours this on Monday, right? I was thinking about this where at that point, this happens 9:30 a.m. on Saturday. I couldn't imagine this news breaking and then me just being like, all right, I'll do a video on Monday. That'd be insane. You know, like in today's sports media, boom, drop a video, boom, go live, boom, do another video, follow it up on Sunday, follow it up on Monday. By the time the terrestrial radio stations are just kind of that old school media, by the time they start covering this on Monday, content creators like me have, and this isn't just sports, this goes for anything. We've already done 3 or 4 hours on this. You know, I think it's just going to get quicker and quicker and quicker. So I think that's another example of how sports media is changing. The landscape's always changing, ladies and gentlemen.
His eyes are, he goes and checks the safety at the top of the drop. When you have this right here, that's a good pocket, okay? You see this guy coming open right there. There he is. All right, 1, 2, 3, ball
what
gone.
Is
Watch
going
this.
On with this?
Throw. Catch. Unbelievable, right? And then from a mental aspect of it, this might be one of my favorite plays. Watch him right here change the play. Let's get up there. In the film matter. It's a shallow cross, right? He takes it to the house, all this stuff. So you got the physical for him to be able to have that big arm, and then you got the mental for him to be able to go up there, under center, check to a cover zero beater, control the offensive line with protection, and then make the throw. That's what the Saints fell in love with.
So you think lean into the second round pick?
You have to, man. You have to. And the thing about Tyler Shough, he is Kellen Moore's guy. The other 2 guys on the roster, Jake Haener and Spencer Rattler, they were not drafted by Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore handpicked this guy.
True.
There's going to be some bumps. He's a rookie, but I do believe he's day 1 starter.
James, what you think?
I played wide receiver in the National Football League. So I know how important the quarterback is. I'm not excited about this dude. I'm not excited about breaking the huddle and saying, like, me to earn some money, me to put together a Pro Bowl year, me to ball out and all that depends on Tyler Shough because that's the first.
Now, this is a good point. You know, yes, Tyler Shough is Kellen Moore's guy. But if it comes down to after a couple weeks of training camp or whatever, that the guys around him are not confident in him, and like James Jones is saying, they don't want to break the huddle with him, and they think like, this isn't really great for me. These guys aren't dumb. They understand who the better player is. So even though Shough is Kellen Moore's guy, if it ends up where Rattler gives the guys around him a better chance or whatever, that will absolutely be a factor. So that's what I keep saying. Like, 6'5" is cool. 4.6 40 is cool. 7 years of college isn't, whatever. It's cool, I guess. But at this point now, all that's kind of moot. And it is, okay, what does it look like with the team? What's it look like with this cast of characters?
First breakdown, I seen my dog Chase do it.
Yeah. Had to.
That's the first one because you probably thought he was going to go later and down at the bottom, and you didn't think he was that good. The answer's not on the roster. Spencer Rattler.
Well, that's not true. I mean, Tyler Shough was absolutely at one point he was supposed to be a late first-round pick. I would say the floor was a third-round pick, but he definitely wasn't supposed to go much later. I don't think that part is right. And something else. This is something else to know in life. This is life advice. Just because this is the first time that he's hearing of Tyler Shough doesn't mean that Tyler Shough is bad, or it's not always that. The question might be, why don't you know who Tyler Shough is? Right? That's probably the better question.
Rattler had his opportunity last year to show that he didn't play well. He was a rookie. I don't hold nothing against him. He could be getting better. Tyler Shough, second-round pick, no. If I'm Chris Olave, if I'm Raheem Shaheed, if I'm Brandon Cooks, I'm not too excited about this, all right? I don't know who the quarterback is, but it's a trade. And you go trade for a Kirk Cousins, you bring in an Aaron Rodgers. Once these rookies sign their deal, maybe it was a rookie you had graded higher. Shedeur had a rookie graded higher. Go trade. The answer's
what? Saying go trade for Shedeur? Shedeur was a 5th-round pick. They picked Tyler Shough over Shedeur. What do you mean?
It's not on the roster. You are in a very, 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 very weak division. Give yourself an opportunity. You're a rookie head coach, a first-year head coach. Give yourself an opportunity to go compete because you have really good skill players on your roster. You got Alvin Kamara. You got Chris Olave. You got Raheem Shaheed. You got Brandon Cooks. Go let these dudes have some success.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen. So they're going to see what Shough and Rattler looks like, and if they feel like one of those guys can give them that success, then that's what they're going to do. If they are floundering, if they are both, struggling, then yeah, they probably will go get a vet. But the first crack at it they're going to give them is the guys that's in house, which I think is the appropriate move.
The second-round pick, in my humble opinion, he needs some time. He's not walking in there right now starting, and he's finna save this offense. The answer is not on the roster, in my humble opinion, and these dudes can get better, but go bring in you a guy that's capable of winning you some football games.
I agree with James Jones. I mean, like, if you have an office meeting and you're sitting around, like, okay, getting prepared for this season, and you look around the room and you're like, whoa, this rookie going to lead my team, right? And I can say rookie that was really, really good in college, nobody even talked about it. That'd be my whole thing. It's like when we had these breakdowns, all these quarterbacks, we all talked about Shedeur, and we all talked about Cam. I never heard anybody talk about Dillon. I heard anybody talk about Tyler.
I mean, how are we still having this conversation? How are we still having am I taking crazy pills? I mean, like, how insane is that? That the conversation is, I didn't hear anybody talk about Tyler Shough. I didn't hear anybody talk about Dillon Gabriel. I didn't hear anybody talk about them. They literally took them. The coaches, it's already happened. Really, let's break down that logic. The logic is, I didn't hear about Tyler Shough. I heard about Shedeur, so they should have taken Shedeur first. But that's completely eliminating the fact that these front offices did their due diligence, had their grades, went to the pro days, interviewed these players, looked at their highlight reels, and took the players over other people. Like, the Seahawks took Jalen Milroe over all the other, anyone else that they could have. You don't think that they did their due diligence and did their process and did the scouting and did the interviews and took him for a reason? You don't think Kellen Moore and his entire staff, they went to every pro day, interviewed every single quarterback prospect, went to the combine, did all this? You don't think that factors in? You think because you didn't hear about Tyler Shough that they should go trade for Shedeur Sanders, who they passed on for 5 rounds? Insane.
You know what I'm saying? So now it's like, if I'm a running back or I'm the wide receiver, it's like, what are we doing here? So I don't know if the quarterback is on the roster. I will say this, though. I don't really judge rookies. I don't care if you're the number 1 pick overall or you're the 8th pick overall. I don't care about that because you're a rookie, and it's hard to do, especially a start, okay? So maybe let him and Spencer battle it out, and we'll see. Because I don't know who's going to come in there. Like, do you really want an old Kirk Cousins who's not that good?
No, exactly. I feel like I'm talking to 14 different people. This is insane. They are going to battle it out. They took Tyler Shough over every single quarterback except Jackson Dart and Cam Ward for a reason. Rattler's there. They're going to battle it out and see what happens. No, you don't want an overpaid Kirk Cousins who's already not very good. No, did anyone watch the Jets last year? Aaron Rodgers isn't on a team. Like, it's not like people are breaking down Aaron Rodgers' door to go get him to play for him. All right? We all saw what happened with the Jets. And that was with Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall. Okay? I mean, what the hell's going on out there?
And then banged up. You see what he looked like. You in his division.
Also, it is worth noting, like, the idea, like, well, it's a rookie, I'm not interested. It's like, okay, well, we have a ton of examples of rookies coming in playing pretty well early on, whether it's Jalen Hurts or Dak Prescott or Jaden Daniels. Obviously, I mean, Jaden Daniels is a little bit of a different situation. He's, second overall pick, but CJ Stroud, like, there's some guys who it's like, hey, rookies made impacts early. Okay. And I'm not saying that Tyler Shough is going to be CJ Stroud or Jaden Daniels or whatever, but the idea of, like, well, it's a rookie, so we're kind of cooked. I mean, even like Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy, unique situation, but you could easily have said the same exact thing about Brock Purdy. Like, who is Brock Purdy? What is Brock Purdy? I'm not excited about Brock Purdy. Go get Matt Schaub. We don't want to roll with Brock Purdy. Go get this guy. Go get Tyrod Taylor. And then look what happened.
Who else you want to go out there and get?
Kenny Pickett was with Kellen Moore last year.
Here's another thing about Kenny Pickett. Like, Kenny Pickett this is something else that blows my mind. Kenny Pickett is bad. Kenny Pickett is accepted as bad. Kenny Pickett was traded for DTR. Like, Kenny Pickett was a failed first-round pick in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh accepted he was bad. They shipped him off. All right? Then Philadelphia had him. They said, yeah, this guy kind of sucks. Shipped him to Cleveland. Now he's in Cleveland. He might not even be the starter there. Okay, he's battling it out with Dillon, Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders, and Joe Flacco. Okay, so how insane is it that this cast of characters is more comfortable with trading for a known below-average player just because they know who he is, just because they know who Kenny Pickett is? They are much more comfortable with trading for that than seeing what the unknown is of Rattler and Shough. Rattler, we already we know, we saw six and a half games last year. I would say those 6.5 games are as good, if not better than Kenny Pickett would be. So, but it shows you, like, the psychological aspect of it, where just because they don't know who Tyler Shough is, they would rather go get Kenny Pickett, who we all know is bad. But how does that make any sense?
So you gonna trade it? So you traded for Kenny Pickett? You gonna trade him again? That ain't likely they're gonna do that.
Maybe.
Well, how excited is Alvin Kamara, Chris Olave, and Rashid Shaheed if Kenny Pickett's in the room? Right? The whole argument was, we want a quarterback who we can make some money or have a Pro Bowl year or whatever. Does Kenny Pickett do that? Is Kenny Pickett the guy who you're excited he's breaking down the huddle? No. So why the hell? Why is he an option? Because they know who he is.
Let them young boys
Possible.
battle it out, and we'll see. But I just don't want to give up on Spencer Rattler because he didn't look good as a rookie.
Yeah, I agree, and they're not going to. They're going to give them a chance. And Rattler not only was he a rookie, but it was a horrific situation, one of the worst possible situations you can be in. I'll give you a blackjack example. Pretend like you're sitting at the blackjack table, and you have a 13, okay, and the dealer's showing an 8, and they tell you you can stick with this 13, or we'll give you a mystery hand. You would obviously want the mystery hand because you know the 13 is horrible. You know the 13 is, you know what it is, but it's terrible. Yeah, you could get a worse hand in the mystery hand, but at that point, it's worth a chance. This exact same, like, why would I be like, yeah, I'm cool with Kenny Pickett. Never mind. I'm good. I'm good with Kenny. Like, no, just take the mystery. Go with the unknown.
That Kenny Pickett is a good call, though.
It's interesting.
Trade him again?
No, but for real, though, like, let's just say Shedeur or Dillon Gabriel balls out. And you
Prove
like...
they can be the number 2.
Yeah. You like, shoot, hold on. And we can get something back for Kenny Pickett, and Kenny Pickett...
That's interesting.
Hey, man.
But I think you...
Well, for the Browns, yeah, the Browns would be the happiest person in the world to trade a third-string quarterback. If Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders beat out Kenny Pickett, and they can trade a third quarterback on the depth chart for something, yeah, of course. But why would the Saints? That's even more reason. If the Saints just watched Dillon Gabriel or Shedeur beat out Kenny Pickett, why would they want him?
I think the starter day one is going to be Kenny Pickett.
I do, too.
You traded for him. Joe Flacco,
too.
like, let's be serious here. He looked, oh, my God, he looked bad last year.
Here's the thought process, though, right? Because I agree with Shady. I agree with James. Well, I think you got to go find someone. Just because starting the season with Tyler Shough, who I believe will be the starter, it's just risky. It's risky. I believe.
Yeah, it's risky, but, I mean, so is starting the season with Dillon Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders.
Of all the rookies, he is probably the most ready to start day one. One, because of his age, because of his maturation, because of all the systems he was in college, because of his understanding of defenses, and because to some degree of his ability at the line of scrimmage to manipulate the offense to get in the looks he wants to get into. Yep. I think Shough is the best rookie to start day one. But
yeah, I agree.
I'm probably going to try to go get Kenny Pickett. To Shady's point, the Browns traded for him, but they only traded a 5th-round pick for him. Buy
yeah, he's horrible.
Low, sell high. So if you can get Kenny Pickett for a 5th-round pick, and then you can deal him to a needier Saints team, Kellen Moore, you were with Kenny Pickett in Philly last year. Kenny Pickett, he took some meaningful snaps at the end of the season last year. If you can deal Kenny Pickett for a 4th-round pick, maybe.
What? You think the Saints would trade a 4th-round pick for Kenny Pickett after they just took Tyler Shough in the 2nd round?
Even get the 5th-round pick that you traded for Kenny Pickett, get him back? All of a sudden, now you're starting the season.
In what universe do you trade a 5th for Kenny Pickett? He loses out the starting job. He's your 3rd-string quarterback, and you trade him for more than you. How does his value increase?
With Kenny Pickett and Tyler Shough can be your number 2. The Browns probably don't need Kenny Pickett because whether they start the season with Joe Flacco, if Gabriel proves to be a number 3 or a number 2, Shedeur proves to be a number 2 or a number 3, all of a sudden that might make sense for the Browns, might make sense for the Saints. Everybody wins a little bit.
But do you think that, I was with some of these vets, Alvin Kamara and Cam Jordan, DeMar, you think they're excited about Kenny Pickett? I mean,
no, brother, I wouldn't be excited about Kenny Pickett in intramurals. If I was playing 7-on-7 or 3-on-3 flag football at Tulane tomorrow, I wouldn't be excited about Kenny Pickett. I mean, what are we talking about here?
They're not excited about Tyler Shough. No, and that's why I think, like,
thank you,
yes,
Chase.
I do think Tyler Shough probably ends up winning the job. It's going to be a rough season, if so, right? But that puts the Saints squarely in the 2026 quarterback draft for Arch Manning, Drew Aller, Garrett Nussmeier, whose dad is the Saints OC. He plays at LSU. All these first-round picks. I think Derek Carr decided to retire post-draft. I get it, put the Saints in a tough situation, but I would not be surprised if they're in the 1st round next year as a quarterback.
No doubt. It's just the Saints have a veteran team that really wants to win now when you think about Cam Jordan, Alvin.
Win now? We won 5 games last year. What do you mean? Win now? They have a 36-year-old head coach, brand new offensive staff, brand new defensive staff. They're 5-12.
Alvin Kamara, DeMario.
They got an old defensive core, man. They need to win now.
They putting their bodies on the line, too. We talking about the quarterback coming out the draft next year. Bro, what we doing right now?
What we doing today? What we doing today?
I'm finna go in the training camp. You talking about Texas boy? No, bro.
What up, YouTube family?
It's shocking. It's shocking stuff. It really is. Wow. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me know in the comments below. And I guess I'll go pre-order my Kenny Pickett Saints jersey. We'll see you in the next video.